It was yeah, it's all about completion. You know, the last chapter was the completion of our journey and what we was doing. You know what I mean? I mean, it never ends, but that particular moment is that, you know, me and RZA, we hung out, we like brothers, and we shared, you know, he shared a lot of knowledge with me and stuff like that. And you know, then that ran its course, but we just elevated. You know, at certain times we just went our way, but we always stayed family. You know, we just meant that. But that's what that chapter had stopped. That was one big chapter in our life, in our coming up. The first person I met was the GZA. You know, he's like family, and Old Dirty. Also, GZA lived around the corner from me, and Dirty lived in Bed-Stuy, which is where I lived at in Brooklyn. So he would come around, and the Dirty was just a beatbox and GZA's dancing in. So I met them, and then he always told me about his family that lived in Staten Island, and that was RZA. And that's how it started. So I met those three, which actually started the whole clan. As far as my journey with the knowledge is observing things around me, and you know, sometimes God has His own path for you. You may choose your path, because I used to like football and everything, but God has His own path, you know, and it led me to see things and experience things where it put me in a certain position where it just happened, man. I just don't, you know, I can't pinpoint a specific time, but I know that listening to the 5 Percenters, but then seeing them fight, you know what I mean, on the street was real, and listen to them, and when I was coming up, you know, and GZA was one of those cats, but there was other dudes that were older guards, you know what I mean, the older guards, and listening to them, and then get later on in life, experience some of the things that they were talking about, you know, looking at pork and cutting that out, you know, and actually saying, man, I don't want that type of meat in my body, and if we don't need that, and then finding out who we are, you know, that our history goes further than just slavery, which is, you know, that's just the white man history. That's not our history, you know, we went further. That's right. And then going into the scriptures, you know, and meeting brothers, and then meet other brothers, you know, and, you know, studying the scriptures and going through that and relating all of that, and seeing that, you know, that's actually our true history, even in the Bible. Looking at that and seeing that that's our, not a religious belief, but that's our history. You know, that's just a part of our history, and manifesting it became easy. A 9,000-mile trip to America, and then well, we went a lot of places. Studying, you know, actually looking at it, and there's a lot of history that we didn't know, and finding out that, you know, that nothing's impossible when looking at those histories, like seeing Shakespeare and studying these guys, Shakespeare and Constantine the Great, and then finding out that they were actually men of color, you know. So I wanted to go out to Europe and see what the Dark Ages was really about, why they call it the Dark Ages, because dark people rule, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Going out there, and it led me to Rome, and I saw pictures in Egypt. I went to Jerusalem, a couple of places, so I went some traveling. I met brothers in Dimona, shout out to them, and everything. I think traveling is basically, you know, what we're here for. You know, we travel. This is a big world, man, and we are part of this world, even though we came from there. But you see me, I got the beats. We all of that, man. It's not just one pinpoint. I think we've been through every phase, so, you know, we all of it. When you go back to it, you see the essence of it was the original man, and all of those knowledges, and even you take it back to kung fu, you know, judo or whatever, and you take it back to the great pyramids, you know, that's all of us. So we're not bound to one, you know. We study and we created a lot of things. They came back in reverse and gave us technology and tricked us with the knowledge, like we were actually learning from them, but it's just total recall, man.
I stepped in the church, ashamed, naked and hurt, wet from the rain, my face shows pain, I'm desperate in search for answers, grabbed the pamphlet that the ushers handed, blood stained, showing through my shirt cause beneath my arm was bandaged. I walked up the aisle, but didn't stop till I got to the altar, when I was being blocked by the preacher's supporters, but he seeing my torture. So-called friends filled me with false love, I spoke, I have nothing to offer, but lost hope in the empty soul. See, the devil tips me like Job, everything I had I now owe. Took my girl, shook my world, lost my credit, it was all his except for my kids. Well, that's what I thought till I caught my whiz. She double-crossed me, then slid, then forced me to live in solitude. Now the bottle's my food, I followed the rules, but I dropped in this jewel. Basic instruction before even Earth Part 2. Oh shit!
I remember being on the pool, sitting on the pool, and it was an old guy. We were talking about the Quran and the Bible, and we were putting facts together. So actually, I didn't come up with that by myself. Me and him, I came up with basic instruction, because he was the one that was telling me, you know, we was talking about the Bible and the Quran, and we had one for the Quran too, but I forgot. I can't remember it. So I came up with, you know, just a basic instruction, and he came up with, you know, just before leaving Earth. But you know, it's just an acronym. When we came up with that, it was an old guy. Never can remember this dude's name, man. We were just going through it. So it was part me and part him. So that's how that came about. Just being real with myself, and you know, knowing where I'm at and where I come from, and staying true to, because I'm from the street, and I know everybody else from the street. I'm just speaking from just like Jesus, he was from the street too. You know, he rode with 12 disciples, you know what I mean? That's a posse, you know, and nowadays he had a posse, and they all came from the street, and just being real and kicking it, you know, just manifesting it the way it should be manifested. And that's keeping it all the way real with our people, instead of just lying and making it fairy tale. Everything's real, you know. 12 disciples, some of them had swords. It was like always coming up to people, and they be like, yo man, I can't wait to see Killah Priest. And some people don't know it's me that I'm talking to. And you know, a lot of people, they familiar with my music. Even Nas, like when me and Nas hooked up, he was telling me about how deep GZA verse was on Basic Instruction Before Leaving Earth. And I was like, wow. I said, you serious? And you know, Nas was like, yeah, Basic Instruction, man, GZA killed that song. And I was like, okay. And I was like, man, you playing games. You know that was me, man. And then, you know, we was kicking it. And then just a lot of people. So I decided to go in the studio, man, and I just was like, you know, he never existed. You know, he's just part of just a RZA experience. And I did a lot of stuff in the background that a lot of people don't know, you know, as far as with Wu, you know, traveling with Wu and being in the studio a lot of times, you know, and working with a lot of the brothers. So yeah, I mean, writing, whatever it is, man, ideas, sitting down, talking, building, and everything, man. I mean, each session really happened like that. You know, we always build things like that.
Love and hatred, love is so sacred. Most species that lay naked in the tools and all ancient. Stick back niggas I ain't with, meditate with, guys we play with, niggas I relate with. Bro, pray, I heard through your mind, niggas right before the bed. Sit down, sleep, and take my head. I lay back, meditation, the way they say. Skip down for some use some dread. Had a friend tell my family I was dead. Returned at the last fall of the orderly. Operate the plan accordingly. In case the fans are recording me. Sign on documents, use the forgery. Touch yesterday and thought of me. I'm like Solomon, broke bluntly. Told the world I'm packing company. House from the grave on me. Smell the death upon me. Driving the hills like Garden. Into the presence of bad peasants. Old things, so everything. All the questions on the mind. Who supplicates and get a clear mind. Who prayed 3 times when the moon lit. And when the sun rise. I met dwellers in the desert. Over shepherds. Been in the mouth of many rapids. Not the dentist. I'm Satan mistress. Walk with vacant churches. For foreign religions. Study pagan scriptures. Two philosophers and physicians. On their kill missions. Who hard they heart. Who was the weak, sick, and afflicted. Candles lit. Gamble with a bitch. Who made me love her. When I touch her. Soft claws, high claws. Bees with sweet honey in their mouth. Got bitter fingers at the tail. Walking through the chambers of death. Grab a hold on to hell. And place the hoe was like a break in the third